Hey there, friends. It's Enamored with Nature, Amanda Dumas. I am going to quickly try to let you know about some tips for dealing with rusty nails and those kinds of puncture wounds that you are worried may get infected. I recently had an experience with my littlest guy of my 5 kiddos. My 4-year-old ended up with a nail in his foot. We recently had our roof redone, and yeah, still hanging around. So if you don't like puncture wound pictures, go ahead and turn away. This is my littlest fellow when he got brought in to the bathroom, and this is as it was sticking out, which you'll notice that the size of the actual nail is like that. So we're thinking at least a good ½ inch was in his foot. That's considered a deep puncture wound, and the fact that he's only 4. Now the issue becomes he is of all my kids, he is the only one who is kind of questionably autoimmune compromised. And so any pediatrician will tell you, you got to be careful about loading on the extra vaccinations when you're dealing with people who have that kind of autoimmune issue. So I didn't want to willy-nilly rush him off to the clinic to get him one of the shots that typically accompanies a puncture wound like this. I gave myself 24 hours. I got educated. You can find all of this on Google these days, which is fantastic. But I ended up finding that the fact that the wound did not bleed after I yanked, and I mean yank, I had to really pull that thing out. I didn't wash it afterwards. It just didn't bleed though. And I got pretty worried about that. So I, after getting some ideas under my belt and consulting with a couple friends who've been through this before, I was not, I decided to give myself a 24-hour window. Epsom salt soaks are fantastic for wounds and for cleansing, and then I also mixed up a Purify, which is a doTERRA's cleansing blend, and myrrh, which myrrh is amazing for keeping wounds open. So it's like seriously like magical. There's so many cool things about myrrh in general. Like it was one of the good enough for the Christ child, kind of thing. But it does some really cool things to wounds, and keeping them, like when you want a wound to weep, myrrh is your friend. So the goal is to heal that deep puncture, that ½ inch of the wound that's inside, before the surface wound seals. Because the spores from that particular kind of bacteria that's often found on farms and often introduced into deep puncture wounds, like from rusty nails, that kind of spore festers in the deeper wounds like that, especially when the outer portion has sealed and that inner portion is just covered, and that then you end up with the big issues such as the jaw locking up, or these awkward spasms or back bends, and it can start with simple stuff like just, fever, headache, irritability kind of stuff. So after I was educated, I began putting that on, I mixed it in a very small dram bottle. I should have brought that in here. And I did dilute it with fractionated coconut oil because malachite is only 4. And so 1 drop of this blend of these 2 oils was going to be too much for that, case. So 6 times throughout the day, I applied it. 3 times of those 6 times, I made an Epsom salt bath first. Just hot water, pretty much as hot as you could stand, because I want that skin to stay open and soft. I had him keep his feet in for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it actually ended up being some really fun times. If it wasn't me, then I always had my daughter read him some, a book or something like that while he had his feet in the in the bath. So we created some fun little memories from this, but so yeah, 3 times a day, and I would put the mixture on right after, but then more than that, I would still apply 3 other times during the day as well. So what is it that happens when you do that kind of thing? Well, here's the deal. You right about day 2 or 3, that good sport is going to start having something like this come out. Can you see that there's like some extra like pus and black stuff and stuff like that? That was all inside his wound, and it didn't come out until at least a good, I'm going to say it was like the 5th bath. So what is that, like, it's more than 24 hours, but anyway, so yeah, and I tried to do just, you know, document all of this so that if I did have to take him into the clinic, I would be able to let them know what had been done up to that point, timestamps and all these things. So as time went on, I continued doing the soaking and continued taking pictures, and you can see in this one, the wound, well, actually it doesn't show up super good on this particular, you know, photo, but it's the wound itself is open still. It's soaked and opened, but it's the inside is still trying to purge. The following day, after 72 hours, it's on the 9th soak, so you know we're in like 3 days, I got the last little bit out. If you can see, like a little bit of black and stuff like that, but that wound is still open. So that is, oh, actually this one's a slightly better picture because I got the light and you can see it coming out of the wound. And so that whole time, you know, covering with Band-Aids and things like that, like not only am I super thankful that he's been a really good sport, today the reason that I knew I was supposed to do this particular live and let other people know about this is because he came and said he felt something, he felt his boo-boo, and I reached down and realized it was just that little piece of open skin flap. It was completely ready to go away. I actually thought I took a picture of it today so you could see what it was looking like, but apparently either I didn't take it or anyway, so it looks fantastic though. Yeah, I didn't take it. Yeah, so just want to encourage you, you know, some things to look for again are if the wound doesn't bleed, then you have to be extra careful about the outer surface wound healing up and sealing before it's had a chance to purge any bacteria out. And again, know your signs, know what you're looking for. Keep the skin soft using Epsom salt bath, and then also the myrrh, which helps with open wounds. If you want them to weep, that's what you'll be using, and then the Purify because it's very cleansing. Hope that helps you guys. If you are already in my lovely village, then you will probably already know about the white grapefruit amazingness that is coming your way if you've made an order that's over $125 before the 15th of the month. Now that's tomorrow. Watch out, y'all. Don't forget. And then also Siberian fir. I have really enjoyed this one. I love that it's 10% off this month here in November. I use this a lot for respiratory issues. I also use it for achy, painful kind of stuff. Like I like adding it to my deep blue and things like that. It also really smells kind of Christmassy. It's really nice to diffuse. So those are a couple of the ways that I use it. And then the only other thing I was going to mention is if you do know people who have not yet got their own account, and if they are wowed and understand that, you know, being able to prevent deep infections from wounds from rusty nails is only the tip of the iceberg with things you can do with essential oils, you will want to let them know that there are several new kits that doTERRA has just come out with this month. And I'm talking like new ones. They're not just like, well, okay, actually 2 of them are kind of renamed. Like I would say, anyway, I'll post some pictures of it. You guys can take a look at them. They're really interesting. But then there's also a 50 PV bonus when anyone who gets their account starts with something that's over 100 in product value. They automatically get 50 PV that just land in their cart. And you guys know that's basically $50, right? So that's really, really, really fantastic deal to get, you know, to get $100 worth of stuff and get $50 to spend the next month. Cool. So if you don't know all the details that you need to know about that, get with me. You can email me at enamoredwithnature@gmail.com, or be sure to connect with me through Facebook. I'm on under Amanda Van Dyke Dumas, or do Enwin Oil Education. My sweet little 4-year-old is here ready to have me read another book. As I told you, he really enjoyed when we do 40-foot baths, in which I just told you guys about. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.